Hey, this is Josha Safari with Safari Training Solutions. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I have a little bit of home cooking here with my really good friend Josha Safari. Josha and I are in the same Toastmasters group where we hone in our speaking skills, if you will, and he agreed to come on and share some of his expertise when it comes to really leveling up the sales in other companies. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner or you're even in sales, he drops some serious, fantastic knowledge nuggets that will help you level up your repertoire as well. Again, Josh and I are friends. We get to meet once a month, break bread, really bounce ideas off each other. He's just a great buddy to really rap with. And he also comes from a fantastic place of service. So if you're into sales or whatnot, please break out your notebook, sit back and relax. Again, what he talks about is needed and used by anybody, whether you're in sales or not. And if you like it, please share it with somebody that might need to level up their communication skills, or maybe just like the video itself or the podcast itself. It really helps with my sponsors and affiliates. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Josha Safari from Safari Training Solutions. Let's level up. This time today's podcast varsity squad is Scott Ferguson, and I have a little bit of home cooking here with my really good friend Josha Safari. Josha and I are in the same Toastmasters group where we hone in our speaking skills, if you will, and he agreed to come on and share some of his expertise when it comes to really leveling up the sales in other companies. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner or you're even in sales, he drops some serious, fantastic knowledge nuggets that will help you level up your repertoire as well. Again, Josh and I are friends. We get to meet once a month, break bread, really bounce ideas off each other. He's just a great buddy to really rap with. And he also comes from a fantastic place of service. So if you're into sales or whatnot, please break out your notebook, sit back and relax. Again, what he talks about is needed and used by anybody, whether you're in sales or not. And if you like it, please share it with somebody that might need to level up their communication skills, or maybe just like the video itself or the podcast itself. It really helps with my sponsors and affiliates. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Josha Safari from Safari Training Solutions. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and this episode's kind of close to my heart because I got a really, really good friend of mine that we have lunch once a month. From the page, the stage to the mic, my guy Josha Safari here is somebody that I immensely respect, somebody that I lean on for when it comes to coaching for my speaking. Like, we met kind of through the Toastmasters Internationals, and we became friends after it. And again, his name's Josha Safari, not Joshua, it's Josha Safari, and he's the president and CEO of Safari Training Solutions, and they're based here in sunny South Florida, West Palm Beach. And his company specializes in improving sales results and consumer satisfaction for many industries. He holds professional designations in insurance and has industry experience in call centers, automotive dealerships, and retail management. He's also an accomplished speaker, which I've talked about before. I love watching him work his bits because he does speak on stages, but Toastmasters is kind of like a comedian that will go and work a bit out on a stage somewhere where he's really not performing. When he pop in the Comedy Store, that's what kind of Toastmasters is. And just watching Josha work his bits out, he just absolutely rocks the stage. And he's also a certified trainer through the WeTrain Institute in Sydney, Australia. And I just love about his company, Safari Training Solutions, they want to unleash your full sales potential. So whether you're a business owner, a salesman, C-suite, or someone really working way up the ranks, you're going to want to break out your notebooks and listen to my good friend here, Josha. And Josha, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, there's actually quite a few, but I like blue the most because
you rock blue, brother.
I love blue because of the different shades.
Yeah.
It just tells a different interpretation and story for each shade. But
yeah, yes. Man, and it fits your personality too, man. And it was funny, like, I think the 4 times in a row we went to Toastmasters, we were matching. Remember, we had like purple shirt, blue shirt. Remember that? That was
funny. Oh, yeah.
I looked across, I'm like, dude, did we plan this? That's funny, dude. That's funny. So, Josh, let's get to the roots, man. Like, kind of where you started. I mean, one, your name is unique. Everybody kind of in your family's name is unique, kind of cool, man. And your family has some entrepreneurship blood in them as well. But like, let's get to the roots, man, kind of where you started, and we'll work our way up to really launching Safari Training Solutions.
So when I was 17 years old, when I first started working, my dad was a manager, which back then was called HP.
Oh,
And he was a
Hewlett Packard?
manager in, yeah, Hewlett
Nice.
Packard. Yeah, short for Hewlett Packard. And
Yeah.
he was on the test engineering team. And he got me a job soldering motherboards back in
What?
2000. Yeah, because like I was a part of like the co-op training program as a senior on Round Rock High School. And I graduated in 2000. But like in my senior year, I got to like take off like at 12 o'clock every day, and I just went to work and got paid. And so
Nice. Yeah.
that's where it started. And it's like I wasn't really in love with engineering. And it's like I kind of found it to be kind of too much of an extroverted type of occupation.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's like it's not going to allow me to really hone in on my personality and just
Right.
to offer kind of like my natural excitement towards things.
Sure. No, that's the thing. And squad, the thing is, I'm going to kind of interject here and say, if you're around Josha, you're going to be happy. He's always smiling. He's always, even if he's pissed off, he's smiling. You always get a good vibe. So I'm sorry, man, but like your personality is really magnetic.
Yeah, I've been told that like my eyes are magnetic too,
Yeah.
the like.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So,
like you didn't want to do the engineering, and like what came after that?
believe it or not, I actually went into a fashion program in Atlanta, Georgia in the year 2000. My mom lives there to even still to this day. And yeah, I moved in with her for a few years thereafter. And it's like I went to this school called Boulder College, which, believe it or not, was actually located in Phipps Plaza, which is like this really high-end mall in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was like in the garage level. Like,
Okay.
it was just like 700 students. And I think I'm really generous when I say 700 students. But yeah, it was like where I got like my fashion marketing sort of pedigree. And that's when I developed my sense of fashion as well. It's like
Yeah,
I
man,
love
you're always
fashion.
rocking like pocket squares and all that jazz, man. Always looking great, brother. So
Yeah, I absolutely love fashion.
dress
It's
for
like,
success, man. Absolutely.
yeah, I change it up. It's like I know what the occasion is, what the mood's gonna be, and like I just know in my head just instinctively that
Sure.
this is how I need to present myself given this or that or XY situation. So
Right. And I'm the exact opposite. Like when I speak and I fly somewhere, I only have a carry-on, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to speak?" I'm like, "Yeah," because my agent, Angie, she has a fashion person that has clothes that she has delivered. She speaks to the event organizer, stuff like that, sees the demographic of people, what I need, and then she has my wardrobe sent to my hotel. So when I show up, it's in there because I don't have what you have, dude. I'm like, I show up like this.
Hey, we'll have to get together and yeah, I'll give you some pointers.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up on that, man. All right, so you kind of went through the fashion world, which really there's so much attention to detail in that you really kind of probably pulled that forward into what you're kind of doing now, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So just to kind of elaborate a little bit
Sure,
further
man.
into my background, then I like got into like retail and like retail management like subsequent years. And then I got into the insurance business in 2005 because it was just like I was just done with school. And that was my first foray into getting involved into doing taxes, actually getting paid for it through H&R Block. And I did that for 4 years. And it's like I have a very analytical side. I have a very rare sort of combination of analytical, but then it's like I can pull the comedy act when it's
Right.
needed and
Right.
everything. And so I have a lot of different sides to my personality, and it all resonates with anybody and any type of personality
Yeah.
type.
That's
So
excellent.
I knew that sales was actually going to be something that I was going to accelerate in just based on the fact that I'm relatable and like I know how to work with people. I know how to earn their trust and respect and everything. And it's like, look,
Sure.
I'm the right guy. It's like, I'm going to grab your hand and it's like, we're going to move forward and we're going to solve this issue together, whatever it is. So
Right.
it doesn't matter like whether I sold insurance or did taxes or whether I did retail or sold cars or whatever. Like I did sell cars in like my mid to
I
late
remember you saying
20s.
that. Yeah,
I mean, it was like a relatively short career because I just got tired of the
I did it for
hours.
2 months. Also, my mentor made me do it. He's like, you need to go sell cars. I'm like, okay. And I'm
Oh,
like, dude, can I
but
quit this? He's like, yes.
there's a lot of lessons to be learned in this
Tons,
too.
bro.
Oh my
Tons. Yeah.
gosh, yeah. It's just like approaching people, it's like, and not scaring them off is like really a
Yeah.
skill in itself. And then as the years have gone on, and it's like I got deeper into my selling career, and then towards the end of it, and like in the last few years, I transitioned into this training coaching sort of
Sure.
bit because it's just I have something more to offer. And sometimes when you work for somebody else, it's like you're capped. I mean,
Yeah.
there's only like so high that you can
Sure.
go. And it's
Right.
like if you got passed over the promotion or not going to be the manager or
All the
running the
politics. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely, man.
And it's just like I have something much more to offer, and I'm not going to allow this sort of thing to hold me back.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm going to call my own shots. Like, screw this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you're like, give us the kind of people that or companies that you like to train or you look forward to training or that you're training right now.
So a lot of the companies that I like to train are first like companies that don't hire like any sort of trainer on staff.
Okay.
Like people who do the hiring also do the training. You can't do both well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's be realistic
Dude, I
about
hate
it.
that, dude. When HR is also the freaking performance coach, it's never works out, dude. It never works.
Yeah, it's like you are asking for failure because
Yes.
it's like you can't put on a training cap and a hiring cap
Yeah.
and balancing the books and this and that. And
Right.
it's like it never works. It's like it's a very regrettable sort of way to operate. And I just
Yeah, dude, because you have the people that are like, if they're in HR, they deal with all the politics. I mean, all of it. And then you expect them to put on a non-biased coaching or consulting hat, right? It's like training hat. It's impossible for you not because the people that you're coaching are going to remember you saying talking shit about you, right? During the HR part, right? It's like, oh, this person's not doing good, but I'll coach him up. You're not going to have the respect. I love that you said that, dude. I love that.
I especially love it when it's like the sales manager that just got promoted like 2 weeks ago, and he's like,
Right.
"Oh, he's going to train you."
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, well, how is this person even qualified?
Right. Let me ask you something. Wait, when you go into, like, let's say a CFO or a COO or a head of human resources brings you in to train a company, okay? You're always going to have the person that brings you in, they're all on board with Safari Training Solutions, right? They're ready to rock. But there's always that person, it might be the COO, it might be one of them C-suite people that are like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Right? Like, what is your secret sauce maybe to bring him on board and get him on board with your program?
Watch me work.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that. It's like, look, when your staff is in the room and I'm training them, just watch me work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That disarms people because it's like if you're inviting and you're transparent,
Yeah.
Scott, like you can overcome anything
100%.
as far as that's
Yeah.
concerned. When I was in New York and New Jersey just late last year, actually, it was kind of the same thing. And it's like I got brought in by the HR manager and he wasn't really sure who I was and what I represented and what I stood for. And it was
Right.
just like, look, I'm going to be transparent with your employees. It's like if I think there's something that's not understood or whatever,
Sure.
call me out on it.
Right.
I can handle a tough New York, New Jersey crowd. Like
Yeah.
being in South Florida, we got a lot of those personalities.
Mixing bowl,
though.
baby, right?
Yeah, mixing bowl. There you
Yeah.
go, man.
Yeah. And because we're on that I-95 corridor that leads right up to New York and Philly and all the edgy people, it's like
Boston, yeah.
Boston, yeah, we get all that. And I love that just watching you right now, you went from kind of carefree into like a really serious mode. And what I get out of that is that you care, right? And that when you say watch me work, you're not like, dude, watch me work, bro. You're like, you're keeping them involved, right? You're like saying, hey, man, watch me work and get involved and really keeping them included, because that's the biggest thing. If a trainer like a rock star trainer like yourself comes in, that person's threatened. They're like, shit, man, am I doing my job bad? But if you're like, watch me work and be involved, right? You keep them there and then you get them on your side.
Yeah. And just to kind of build on that, Scott, like the HR manager that was supposed to do the training for like the benefits for the team, it's like for the union, she admitted to me that she was scared
Mhm.
And she's like, I'm overwhelmed. It's like, I don't know what to think. It's like, I don't know what they're going to think of me. And I'm like, look, let me just handle it. It's like, even
Yeah.
if it's like not within the scope of what we agreed upon, I probably know what the issue is.
Love it.
It's like, especially like the insurance part, she was like not confident in explaining
Right.
insurance. And I'm like, well, luckily for you today, I'm the right person here that actually knows this stuff. So
Right. Yeah, man.
allow me to take over this portion.
And take over, and you're kind of coaching her as you go along and being like, okay, dude, I'm going to take over. But if you start implementing some of this when I'm not actually on site, it's going to make the whole transition go really smooth. I love that. So let's say you're kind of working with one of the employees one-on-one, right? And everybody has their own flavor, everybody has their own personality. Like, what kind of secret sauce do you have that maybe helps them find a blind spot that's really blocking them from really producing?
I would really want to know what the root cause is either for their frustration
Okay.
or what's getting in their way and what they're trying to overcome.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different layers to the situation. Is like, is it because it's just like maybe you're not respected amongst your cohorts, or your superiors, or what is your tendencies? Like, do you show up late for work? Do you not show up at all sometimes? It's just tell me like what your day to day is. It's like when you
Ooh.
wake up like between 5 and 7 in the morning.
Dude, I love
Like,
that.
what
Yeah.
makes you tick? Like when you actually set your first 2 feet down on the ground
Yes,
upon
thank
leaving
you.
bed, because that sets the tone
Yes.
for the remainder of the day moving forward.
Yes.
It's like, did you step on the cat or dog's tail or something? It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
did you
Dude,
step on a Lego?
I love that. I love that you said that, because I'm not qualified to coach people you do, like from a training purpose, but for removing performance gaps of getting them from here to there, that's my kind of thing. And that's the one thing that I find the most success with is their morning routine. And I'm not going to change it because I'm not a consultant. I'm not going to tell them to change it. I want to find out what it is and then have them change it themselves through my question asking. But I love that you said that the morning routine sets a tone for the day. You can have that, right? I mean, it's huge. Like, what does your morning routine look like, Josha?
I read about 100 pages a day of
Okay.
pretty much any book or any sort of online ebook,
Sure.
whatever you want to
It's going to
classify it.
level you up, right?
And then, believe it or not, I play like a game in the morning where
Good.
it's like block Sudoku.
Yeah. That's
It's like
cool.
it's a thinking man's
Bro,
game, because like
yes. Yes. I mean, you're 10 years younger than me, bro, but you have to do something like me. I'm on that Duolingo app for Spanish. It's like one of the first things I do just to get my brain going and get more oxygen to the. I mean, I still do my cold plunges, my Wim Hof breathing, my movement and exercises, but like Spanish is part of it, man. I'm 377 days straight in. I just started this Spanish. Before it was reading something else. I love that. So, Joshua, like maybe you're working with maybe the human resources and you're really just working at the start. We're still kind of in the discovery period, right? Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
yes, a lot of times when we go through like some sort of formal interview process,
Sure.
a lot of times they don't really ask me like some of the ways that I would want to motivate like their team members. And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
they say that like 80 to 90% of training programs out there fail to make an everlasting impression.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is ridiculous, first of
Yeah.
all. It's like, and this even includes executive level coaching, not to
Hmm.
mention it falls in that umbrella.
Hmm.
And like the reason why, it's because you're not you're just basically holding like a college 101 course where it's like you're just spewing a bunch of information, like a bunch of like acronyms and terms that people don't really affiliate or associate with or relate
Right.
to.
Yeah.
You have to get them interactive with one another.
Sure.
It's like that's the part of training. It's like HR doesn't really bring that up too much a lot of times. And it's like it's like the whole goal as a trainer, if you're a good one, that is, it's like
Sure.
your whole goal should be whatever group that is that you're training for a particular amount of time and subject matter, you got to get them involved. It's like you got to get them into activities and whatever. And I'm not just talking about this sort of
Yeah.
thing. They got to be one-on-one, face-to-face.
Yes.
That's how they remember. It's like Kahoot games don't really leave a mark. It's like it's
Right.
forgettable. It's like an episode of Jeopardy. Like who's gonna remember like what King
Truth,
Henry
man.
III did in the 13th century?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you find something that, like, big thing is, like, I know Tony Robbins. I've been blessed to speak with him before and whatnot. But like, one thing I like about some of his training, and also like Rod Hairston and other people, is that they really change their state, right? Like their mind, like your morning routine changes your state. It gets you primed, it gets you going, right? And that's what I kind of try to do with companies, is really get them to hone into their energy, right? Because if they're just like, where you were on 9/11?
Yeah, I actually was working a shift at Dillard's in the men's fragrance department.
Right.
And it was such a weird day. And
Right.
believe it or not, like I actually bought and financed my first car that very same week. I bought a 1998 red used
Look
Chrysler
at everything
convertible.
you remember, man, because your
It
state,
was a
when I
weird week.
asked that question, your state changed. You went
Yeah.
up and back, like you changed that state of the people. And as like I can see you in the boardroom or teaching, you're really changing the state because of your excitement. You're really wanting to get the group fully involved, man. That's one thing that I'm pulling out of here, because you're so freaking humble, dude. Like you're not really like talking, because I know how you work, and I know that that's what you change their state. Because you change anyone's state, they remember. You can say incantations or motivational shit all day long, right? But if you don't have anything affiliated to it that's changing your state, there'll never be change. Because
But
that's why I asked about 9/11, because you
yeah.
remember it. There was a feeling. You remember financing a car, like all this feeling came around. If you can do that in the sales room, bro, it's over. You got
Yeah. Well, you got to get their buy-in too. That's another thing. You got to get their buy-in.
How you do that?
You got to make every member of the room feel important and that they matter
Yeah.
and they can contribute, and whatever they're contributing is making a difference towards a better organization, a better day, so forth.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because I know you're not coaching the janitor or anything like that, but you're also not above walking past the janitor and saying hello. But like maybe the lowest person in the room, right? Getting them involved, getting their voice heard, so they can just feel like, hey, I feel a part of this company. And you're a master of that in the room. Because when you speak in Toastmasters, everyone's like, they look at you. Like I was observe other people in the room, dude. They're like, oh, like what's Josha saying? What I'm saying, and that's impressive, man. You're just being humble. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, what do you feel that your strengths are when it comes to really helping people and leveling them up?
Just being able to convince them that they can always improve, and getting them in a growth mindset where it's just like, you have a lot to offer. You have everything to offer in the world. Find a way to do it. I don't care how bad you're struggling financially or within a relationship
Sure.
or what, if the car broke down the other day or whatever. It's get yourself in a situation where it's just like inject positivity into your mindset.
Love it, dude.
Inject.
Yes, inject it. Man, that's awesome. So I'm gonna go the other way. What are your weaknesses, man? What do you feel that you need to work on that you're working on? Like myself, it's eye contact, right? Like I have good eye contact, but I'm a big dude. I'm 6'1", I'm 240. So I don't want to feel like I'm intimidating people, right? So my eye contact, like I have good eye contact, but I want to be softer about it, right? So I feel more approachable. Like what is something that you are really looking to work on every day?
They say, I read an article on this the other day. You know how they say in the job interview, or like the HR person asks, what is your biggest weakness? And a lot of times the default response is, I'm a perfectionist.
Right.
That's the wrong answer every last time.
Okay.
A more suitable, politically correct answer would fall into the category of, I'm just simply impatient. That's a relatable quality.
Bro, that's transparent. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm impatient. It's like, because I want it now. I'm not willing to settle, or I'm not willing to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. You understand there's a process, but you want to get it done. You want to take that step. no matter
Yeah.
what, bro.
I want to be the next day trading millionaire. It's like I want to be
Right.
the next crypto
Right.
millionaire. It's
Yeah,
like,
and it's like I can see now that you brought that up, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like in a bad way, but like when we were at Rocco's Tacos and waiting on a table, you were like ready to get to a table. I'm saying it was like, dude, give me a freaking table. There's a lot of open tables. Let's just go. You know,
as
it's not
long
a
as I'm
bad,
not sweating while I'm eating. It's
right,
like,
right. It's not bad, but thank you for being transparent on that, man. So, Josh, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
gosh, I was like 4 or 5 years
Dude,
old
yeah,
back in the 80s.
it's going to be 40 years old next year, right? It came
Yeah,
out in
yeah.
85. So let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, right? He's the main character. Let's get in that DeLorean. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Joshua. What would you drop on him as knowledge nuggets to maybe not change anything? Because your life's been very productive and a lot of fun to live, but maybe to shorten a learning curve or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker. What would you share with him?
Wow, moving to Las Vegas at 22 years old was nuts.
Okay.
Because that's what I did. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
I remember you telling me that over lunch. Yeah.
yeah, I moved to Las Vegas when I was just about to turn 22 years old. That was nuts in itself. And I mean, what I had like $1,500 and like and an old Ford Escort that barely even made it through the desert.
Escort. I love it. I love it. What might you teach him though? What might you tell him
Oh, it
about
just kind
life?
of
Yeah.
yeah. In hindsight,
Yeah, exactly.
it's what I would say in terms of being in hindsight is just go for it. It's like, yeah, go for it. It's like, don't have any reservations, just go for it. A life lived, if you fail at something, it's not the end of the world.
Oh
I mean,
man.
you have more regret over what you don't try.
Boom.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
you don't, yeah, it's
Yes.
like you don't grow when you seek comfort.
Thank you. That's it, man. I mean, a seed starts in the freaking dark, right?
Right.
A seed starts in the dark, and so many things have got to happen from the sunlight to the watering for that seed to do it, but you just still have to do it. Like you said, do it scared. I mean, dude, we're born in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, dude, midnight, it's dark out, is it not? It doesn't
Yeah.
become light till 6, 7 in the morning, maybe a little later, right? This time of year. But you start your day in the dark. But like you're saying, do it scared, man. Get out there. And if you don't know something, get your asking gear because there's people that will answer those questions for you, man. I freaking love that, Josh. That's fantastic. So,
But just one little piece real
yeah, man,
quick.
please.
I was just like gonna say, it's like, look, there are very uncomfortable moments in training somebody or
Yeah.
a group of people. And it's
Right.
like sometimes these questions are like, it's like you never want to discourage people from asking questions then
Sure.
again, but it's like, and of course people preface and say,
Yeah.
oh, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Well, that's kind of like playing niceness politically speaking.
Yeah.
There
You
is a
got to
and
give them
there's
grace and space though, because you're a stranger to them, right? Like you got to
yeah.
say, okay, ask it, but yeah, maybe think
Don't
about it.
hold back the group of 100 people.
Sure. Yeah. Or else, hey, we can take care of that off stage or after. I love it. So, Joshua, how do you want your dash remembered, man? And that little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hope he's way down the line. But how does Joshua want his dash remembered?
I just want to know that like whatever I'm doing today, what I've done in the past and moving forward is a culmination of all my life's work. And I can just look back at it with a sense of pride and just say, wow, I made some really crazy decisions.
Yeah.
And it was more of and I operated more on the premise of feeling rather than facts and
Yeah.
data and so forth. And it's part of being human. We're not, I mean, it's like you read the news or whatever, it's very robotic. I mean, a lot of times, like the same issues, politics, money, like the war in Gaza. It's like it's the same stuff that just recycled over and over again. But like, just kind of getting back to topic here, I just approach each and every day as just adding a little bit of a piece to my legacy. And it's just like, I just want people to remember me as not a good person that really made a difference, made them see things, providing clarity, transparency.
Love it. 100%. Yeah. No, I love that. It is exactly what you're doing. So, Joshua, what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
Oh, it's funny because like I can range from the life of the party to being like in total shutdown mode,
Okay.
analytical.
Okay.
And it's like, and I'm not uncomfortable with either or, in
Oh,
fact.
nice. Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. When I was in Sydney last year, it's like we had like a trainer's retreat. That's what they called it. And
Sure.
like we got together for about a span of about 2.5 days, like starting on Friday night, ending on a Sunday. And it was funny because like I really, it's like I wanted to be the life of the whole crowd, being one of two Americans in the entire group. And then like when we went out on Saturday night, it's like it's like I wanted to hear all the Aussies talk about their lives and everything. And it's like
Right.
it was interesting, but like just being in a foreign country and like being in a casino in Sydney is like, wow, I really like know like wow, our lives are not really that much different, even though we're in different parts of the world. They sleep different at
Mhm.
different times of the day and work at different times of the day than we do. And it's like, but like our lives are really not any different. Like they're all
Right.
homeowners, paying the mortgage, have kids.
Right. Yeah, we all just live and just, I mean, the toilet water goes down differently when you flush. Than the
Yeah,
top of any toilet, right?
counterclockwise. Yeah,
That's awesome. So Joshua, tell me, what is your definition then of a life well lived?
making an everlasting impression and memory for everybody that you can come into contact with as much as humanly possible. I know that's
Yeah.
not possible everywhere, but I kind of approach it kind of as a numbers game. It's like if I can make a difference in at least 3 to 5 people's lives each and every day, that's ambitious. That's ambitious.
That's hard. Yeah, it's hard because it's funny. I make 2 New Year's resolutions every year, and people like New Year's resolutions, but I've made them every year since 2009 when I lost everything, when the market crashed and I had to rebuild it. Is that I say, I make someone smile every single day. Okay, that's one of my resolutions. And two, unless I've hurt you, owe you, judge you, or disrespected you, I give zero what's about what you think about me. Right. So as long as I'm good and like you said, kind of really leaving good lasting impression on people, make them smile, that's a life well lived, right? I mean, it just is because you're
It's
giving.
yeah, it's not about what you accumulate monetary wise or
Yeah, that's
possession
fun.
wise.
Don't get me wrong. I mean,
It's
fun,
fun.
but
It's adventure.
yeah, I love it, man. I'm Deshaun Today, Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Joshua, you and I have probably talked about a few of these questions in person because I'm blessed to go to lunch monthly with you and whatnot. But today, when I ask you the questions, you got 5 seconds with no explanations. And they can all be answered in 5 seconds. I promise you. You ready to level up?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Joshua, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
You got to go for it no matter what.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Reading 100 pages a day of whatever. Doesn't matter what the topic is.
Love it. And other than your own website, SafariTrainingSolutions.com, what other website do you go to really kind of like get a grasp on the day or really just kind of level yourself up?
An internet resource that I can recommend is Entrepedia.co, or short for co.
Okay.
And there is a library of over 5,000 topics. You can learn to do anything as far as creating a presence on social media.
Okay.
You can also learn how to build a
Okay, we gotta keep it
Shopify.
short, but no, I'll put that in the show notes, brother. I appreciate that. So you see me kind of walking down the street a little bit. Maybe I'm in my doldrums. You're like, man, Fergie just doesn't look right. What book might you hand me to really help me level up?
Kind of book what I do. Interesting. Because I'm a sales guy, it's like the Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gettimore, actually.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of non-sales.
That's a great book, dude. I've read it.
Yeah,
so.
There's a lot of non-sales knowledge that's incorporated into that.
I love it. So, Joshua, what's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Laughing.
Awesome. Nicknames growing up?
I was in 5th grade, Kinga Bear, which is like an obscure one, but
love it.
That's what I was referred to as.
Do you have any hidden talents and or superpowers that you have that nobody really knows about until now?
I can convert Fahrenheit to Celsius in my head and miles to kilometers in my head.
That's awesome. Dude.
And be spot on.
Never said that. I love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Oh, Monopoly. I played over 10,000 games in my life.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. Headline for your life.
Go for it.
Yeah. Any superstitions you buy into?
No, I'm not a superstitious
Awesome.
person.
Go-to ice cream flavor.
Mint chocolate chip and Rocky Road.
Love it, man. So there's a sandwich called the Kanga Bear. Build that sandwich for me, man. What's on that sandwich?
Oh, capricola,
Ooh,
prosciutto, Gouda cheese, and Dijon mustard and mayonnaise.
love it. Any favorite charity or organization that you'd like to give your time or money to?
I would like to do more with Habitat for Humanity,
There you
seeing
go.
that there's a housing crisis.
I love it, man. Thank you for saying that. Last question. You can elaborate on this one a little bit, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s.
90s. Awesome, dude. Why the 90s?
I love the whole. It started with Kurt Cobain, and then it's like it kind of ended with like Limp Bizkit. There's a
Yeah,
lot of range.
dude. A lot of range. I mean, I'm an 80s baby, but it kind of started with the rap and out of disco into rap and big hair, don't care. But the 90s was fun because I was in the military, and like you said, with Nirvana and then Pearl Jam and all those grunge bands, right? But then you had your garage bands like Blink 182 and Sum 41. And then you had your Mary J. Blige, Dr. Dre, Eminem. Like, yeah, you're right. 90s is a lot of fun, dude.
I love rock and heavy metal and alternative, but I have a sweet spot for 90s dance Euro trash music.
Oh, nice. I love it, dude. I love it. So, Joshua, how can we find you, brother?
Oh, you can find me if you want to email me and make any inquiries. You can find me at Josha at safaritrainingsolutions.com. I also have the website www.safaritrainingsolutions.com. And can I recommend a book real quick?
Yeah, man. Sure.
So this is for my friend Judith Wilson out in Sydney. She's a master trainer. She's made millions of dollars. And this book that I'm going to recommend is The Secrets to Powerful Presentation, which I'm going to include a link also as far as purchasing this book. But basically the premise is just a few bullet points here.
Yeah.
It's just basically analyzing an audience and tailoring your speech accordingly, depending on the mood of the room and so forth. And having a stage presence, having like a plan of action. It's like she refers to it as like train stations as far as like every step is like how to plan for your event and presentation and whatnot. I just wanted to throw that out there. She's a dear friend of mine. And yeah, she's one of the inspirations as to why I decided to transition into sales and training and coaching.
Do me one last solid, Joshua, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Whenever you get into a venture, know that people are the most important aspect of doing what you're doing. Don't do it just to chase money, or it's like, oh, I'm going to get into this because I can charge a lot of money and not really care about what I'm doing so much.
Yeah.
If people don't know that you care, or if like they see that you're fake all the way through, you will go nowhere.
You go nowhere
in any venture whatsoever.
I love that, dude. I love it. And squad, like, again, this guy's one of my besties here in South Florida. Really cool guy. I get to have the pleasure of like speaking with him and meeting with him and breaking bread with him. But this is a dude that went from soldering motherboards to a fashion program to retail to insurance. And by doing that, he had so many hats on that it just parlayed in to training high-level companies, which it really set him up for it. He has a personality that can relate to all seasons of people, whether they're hot-headed or whether they're chill or whether they are somebody that's scared. Like Joshua can relate to all of them. He decided to take those skills and move them into sales. And he's a type of person that is not talk the shit. Like he says, watch me work. Watch me. Get on board with me. I promise I'll keep you included, but just watch me work. Give me that shot. And if you're going to hire somebody like a rock star like Josh or whoever you hire out there, ask them the ways that they were going to motivate the members, the ways that they were going to really get them to buy in. Joshua reminded us about that. And again, the goal Joshua always has is get the whole group involved. Get the person that's meek, that's sitting in the corner. Get the loudmouth to shut up a little bit. Like everybody in the room, really get them involved in different ways and really reminded us to inject positivity into everything. He wants you to go about life and do it scared. And if you don't know how to do something, then get your ass in gear. That my good friend Leah Woodford said that to me. Fergie, just get your ass in gear. Ask. There's people that are out there that will want to help you. And make sure that you have your morning routine and get a solid one. I know Joshua does. I know I do. We shared with each other our morning routines over lunch one time. And that's why him and I magnetize to each other, is because we have that same, when we rise, we're rising and shining, not rising and whining. Like we're out there and getting after it. And he's going to be remembered as somebody that a culmination of his life's work. He's going to look back with a sense of pride in knowing that he came from a service, and he went more from a place of feelings than facts. Like he really leans into people. He listens with his neck. I've noticed that when I'm talking to him, he doesn't interrupt. He really is leaning in and listening with all his senses, watching me. And that's how he is with his clients out there. And then Joshua is comfortable in any situation. I mean, he's always dressed for success, but he can also go and throw on shorts and a t-shirt. Just go look at his modeling photos. I'm saying, I mean, the guy's always making an everlasting impression and a good memory with people that he meets. And I really just really respect that. And last thing is that people will remember how you treated them. Really lean into people and treat them well, and don't chase the dollar. The dollar will find you with the more service that you provide. And that's what my friend Joshua does. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's humble, yet he's hungry. He's earned his varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on, Joshua. Absolutely love your guts, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, take care, Scott.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.